Welcome back to BK Nothing But Nets podcast. I am joined by the man, the myth, the legend, uh, Pete from Nets Fans. It's good to have you back. We're just a couple of days away from the start of preseason. Pete, what do you got going on? Introduce yourself. Let everybody know where they can find you.
Thank you for the introduction, but I am definitely none of those
You're
things.
all those things. Net royalty, Pete from Nets Fans. But go ahead, go ahead,
No,
go ahead.
I'm not Nets royalty. Uh, I host the podcast Net Fans. I'm going to get back to dropping weekly episodes. I have credentialed media on. I've talked to former players, uh, analytics guys, pretty much anyone in Nets lore, all that good stuff. hmm
All right. I just dropped an episode with Pete about Kobe Buffkin. I want to get to him in a little bit because I got expectations for him this year. I want to get your take on that. It's been a couple of weeks since we've got him. I wanted to, now that the temperatures dropped, see what people think of that. But I want to start off with two things. First, media day. Cam Thomas is looking trim and fit. He's looked like he slimmed down. Something he addressed. What are your thoughts on the fit Cam Thomas? Part of what I thought made him good was that he was built like a fire hydrant. He did look slimmed down. What were your thoughts on that? And is it him taking it more seriously, or is it a plus? Is it a negative? What were your thoughts on reduced fat Cam Thomas?
I don't think it's him taking it more seriously. He was knowing that he was going to be going to a restricted free agency last season, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he knew money was on the line. I think not getting the money that he thought it was going to come up for him was like a big fire under his ass. Uh, how does it affect his game? I'm sure he's going to be able to move around a little bit more. Is his body going to be able to take the contact it usually takes when he's driving? He draws a lot of fouls. That's something to look at. But he's earned his spot in the starting lineup and to have the ball in his hands. Let's see what happens.
I was listening to another Nets podcast, and they were talking about him getting more blow bys and things like that. I think that's a little bit much to ask. Cam Thomas isn't really blowing by anybody. He's not really blowing by defender. I'm not. I love Cam Thomas, but that's not his game. He doesn't blow past people. Does it give him? Do you foresee him having a little more pep in his first step, a little more explosiveness, or is he going to be able to play more minutes, or what do you think the net gain of this is?
I definitely think it helps his ankles, knees, feet, all
Hammies.
that good stuff, right? That whenever you're taking less weight off that's good. How is it going to affect his game? You probably will be able to move around a little bit more. You got more stamina in your body. I don't think he's going to change his game much. I'm really intrigued to see if he's forced to change his game because of all the differences in his body.
I wanted to touch on a couple of things. First, give me your prediction. Thomas's stat line. How many games is he going to play with the Nets? Points per game, assists, rebounds, and then field goal 3-point percentage. Give me your prediction for Cam Thomas this season with the Nets.
Oh man, you know that's an extremely hard question to
It
ask me
is,
in
yeah.
training.
Well, I expect you to be wrong, but I think we're all going to be wrong, right? Like, so I'm like, I just wonder, what are your expectations for Cam Thomas?
The games played. I'm gonna say that he's gonna play these games this year. Maybe with the weight being off, maybe that helps. Maybe it doesn't help. Whatever. Well, let's say like 60 games. He's gonna put up under 20 points because you're gonna have Michael Porter Jr. shooting. You're gonna want the kids shooting a little bit. I think he's gonna shoot around 43, 45%. And from three, he'll probably shoot under 35%.
So a bit of a down season, statistically not a great season for Cam Thomas.
No,
Um,
I took his career numbers and took
yeah,
away shot attempts. You know what? I'll make a change on the 3-point percentage. Maybe he can get it over 35% because he'll have some spacing this year.
that's going to matter. Can he get more easy shots? Can he put up less tough shots? I don't think he's going to put up less tough shots. So basically, can he get more easy shots? Maybe. I think Michael Porter Jr. is a much better player all around. I think he's better at every element of basketball than Cam Johnson. So I think this is an addition for the Nets, which I want to segue into that in a minute. If the Nets could be better than people expect them to be. I've listened to some just basketball podcasts and basketball content where they're like, the Nets might not be that bad. I don't really see that, but I want to touch on that in a minute. Yeah, I think Cam Thomas is going to play 35 minutes a game. I think he's going to play 35 minutes a game. He's obviously not shy. I see him averaging around 26 points a game. I'm going to go a little higher. I'm going to say about 45, 36 on his percentages. I'm going to say 26 points a game, 3.8 assists, and he's going to shoot 45, 36 splits.
But why? I got two questions here.
Sure.
Two very important questions. One, what does his assist numbers look like?
3.8, which is about what he did last year.
Yeah, he did 3.3 last year.
Yeah.
I think it could go up a little bit closer to 4. I would not be shocked. And he's putting up like these 26 points a game. That's taking a lot of shots. I don't know where is he going to get all these shots? He was taking 18 shots a game last year when he was averaging 24.
You say 18, right? So to get to 26, I'm going to have him take about the same. How many minutes per game did he play last year? 32?
31.
So I'm giving him 3 more minutes a game, 4 more minutes a game. 3, 4
So
more
you're
minutes
basically giving him about 20 shots a game.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Who do you want? I mean,
you know what? Let me cut you off because I'm about to help you here. Looking at Basketball Reference projection, they use per 36 minutes of last year's stats. He averaged about 19.9 attempts, and he wound up scoring 25.9. So that would actually be in line with your prediction.
It's a numbers game. If you're taking 20 shots, 8 of them, 7, 8 of them are going to be from 3. You're taking 7, 8 threes. You're going to hit 3 of them. He's going to get to the line. He's going to get 5, 6 points from the line, and he's going to hit a bunch of 2s. We're at about 25, 26 points a game. If he's playing those minutes, it's not as if he's going to accept a role in the offense, right? Like he is the offense, and that's kind of the problem with him. The question is he a good enough player offensively to be the offense? Because he offers you nothing else. Is he Jalen Brunson? No, right? Like he's not. He's not that good, so he can't be the offense. But that's not going to stop him, and that's why I think he's a guy that comes off the bench on a good team, and I value that. I've always valued him because I think what Jordan Clarkson does is valuable, and that's I've kind of always viewed him as a better version of Jordan Clarkson. That's why I like him. But on a team like this, do you think Porter becomes more aggressive? Michael Porter Jr. starts creating a bunch of shots on his own, or do you think he's still just basically a spot up guy who runs the wing?
Oh no, he's going to be able to get full control over here. I would be shocked if they just let him roast in the corner. Don't get me wrong, there are going to be times where you're going to need his space and he's going to be sitting there. But I think he sort of has the Cam Johnson rules in that do whatever you want, try to figure it out, try new things, and see where it goes.
So do more than half of his shots come from 3? You would say yes, right?
Do more than half his shots. That's tough. I would have to look up at what he did last year.
Well, last year was definitely more than half. It was definitely. It's probably 60% at least. Because look at the offense he's playing in. This year,
7 attempts. It was about half. 7 attempts from 3 last year. Or that was per 36. My apologies. Give me 1 second. He took 6 threes last year a game and 7 twos.
Oh, he took more twos than threes last year? Really? Okay.
6 threes a game and 7 twos a game.
I wouldn't have expected that. So, yeah, I would say for sure he's going to take more 2s than 3s this year then. Okay, that's interesting. That's definitely interesting. I thought he was way more 3s than 2s. Okay. He's also not going to have Joker feeding him the ball for easy shots this year, right? I mean, there's no real dynamic playmaker. There's no visionary out there. They don't really even. Well, we're going to find out, I guess. I don't want to sell these rookie shorts. I want to move on to Saraf. A lot of people are, including Michael Porter Jr., a lot of people are speaking very highly of Ben Saraf. I was not impressed in the Summer League. I didn't want to write him off in the Summer League. It's just one Summer League. But typically, a guy like that, you want him to shine. Like, you want him to dominate these guys in the Summer League. He didn't do that. A lot of people are saying he's outplaying expectations, that he's outplaying where he was drafted. What are your thoughts on Saraf, and what do you kind of expect from him in the preseason?
I am very, very low on Saraf, but I'm going to tell you this. I've heard from a couple people. Can't say that. Okay. I've heard from a couple
You can say it. Let's
no, I can't.
No, I can't say that.
I've heard it's written in the newspaper. Several players have said that Saraf has a great feel for the game. And I was talking with someone, and I was just shocked to hear that, about how much like raving he's getting, and we're not hearing the same revving from like other guys. It's kind of like almost shocking.
That was I was surprised to hear Michael Porter Jr. mentioned how wise beyond his years are, and he's shocked that he's just 19 years old or 20, whatever he is. Like, he can't believe that he's that young of a kid, but he's been playing pro ball since he's like 15. So it's understandable. This was the one guy that I had no expect. I was furious when they took him. I didn't understand why they took him. Is it possible, Pete, that we're all wrong about Ben Saraf? Ben Saraf's not going to spend the season in Long Island, and he doesn't suck, and that he's gonna be a rotational guy and then potentially a starter down the road?
With the Buffkin trade, I was talking with someone, and I was like, so I guess that's it for Saraf. Like, obviously he's going down to the G League. And I was told, nope. And then I got a name, which I'm going to say for my show that's coming out either tonight or tomorrow. He gave me a name that's going to be that may be going down to the G League, which was crazy, that I really did not expect. But it looks like Saraf is doing really well and turning a lot of heads. I have no idea what that looks like, but I think he might be on the roster.
The guy that's going down to the G League, does his last name rhyme
I'm
with...
not answering. No, does
it rhyme
I don't know. By the way, I don't know if this guy's going down to the G League. It's a possibility.
Okay.
It's a possibility.
Was he on the roster last year?
I can't. Go to the next question.
No comment. No comment from Pete. But back to Saraf. What is his role here? Obviously, we have plenty of point guards. We've added Buffkin. Saraf's a 1, right? He's not a 2. He's not really a guy that can play off the ball, right? I mean, he's a 1. Is that your assessment of his game?
Jordy likes combo guards. He doesn't like 1s. He doesn't like 2s. He likes the guards to be interchangeable. And with someone with Saraf, I think you would say he's probably closer to a shooting guard, or at least from what I've seen, I thought he'd be a shooting guard. But he could handle the ball. Apparently has great feel for the game. So I think the 1 and 2 is interchangeable in this offense that Jordy runs.
All right. Like, I just don't see him. I see him as a ball handler, as a ball dominant guy. I mean, I know he's got the size. He can play 2. He can probably guard 2s. But his game tells me he's a 1. Like, he's a ball handler. Like, that's just how I view him. Like, I don't know. Does he seem like a guy? Can he? He can't catch and shoot, right?
I have no idea. We got to see.
He can't shoot. He can't shoot.
See. It's too early to make that assessment, but we'll know in the coming weeks for sure, like what exactly we're working with. But you got to admit, he had some nice handles in Summer League. He made a couple good spin moves.
No, yeah, he couldn't finish though. It was the first game, like the first minute of the first game, he had a great move to the basket. Like, he's got ability here. I guess he doesn't blow you away as an athlete. If he doesn't blow you away as an athlete and he can't shoot, it's like, that doesn't mean he can't play. I mean, it just, but those are the things that catch your eye. And like, to me, Ben Saraf did nothing to catch my eye. That doesn't mean he can't play. I've done this with fighters. It's like I don't really do anything that blows you away, and then they kind of just, the sum is kind of greater than all the parts, and their know-how and their ring IQ kind of carries the day for him. That's what I'm hearing about Sarev, is that his know-how and his basketball savvy is really beyond his years. Maybe he becomes a contributing player sooner rather than later. I don't know where they're going to use him. I want to move into the other rookies. Let's start with Yegor, Yegor Damone. The injury that I can't ever say, I can't ever say this. I can't say it. How do you say it? Yeah, fasciitis. Plantar. Okay.
Well, plantar fasciitis.
I'm gonna let you say it, Pete, because I can't say it. Go ahead.
I think it's like plantar fasciae. Plantar fasciae is a rupture of a ligament that goes from your heel to your toes. That's like kind of like close to touching the floor, right?
Yeah.
Plantar fasciitis is inflammation of that. So fasciitis is a lot better than getting the one that Demon has, because that means he at least has a partial tear or a full tear of that ligament. If it was fasciitis, it's just inflamed.
So this is actually worse than plantar fasciitis. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm gonna rehearse this in front of a mirror so I can say it. What do we take of this? Is this has to be? Is it something that happened during the summer league? Is it happened in between the summer league and now? Is this ongoing? Did they draft him knowing this? Was this a giant mistake? Is this going to be a lingering thing?
Honestly, bro, I have no idea. He said it was after summer league. Like what are you gonna do to try to prove that it wasn't during summer league? Like we have nothing really to go by except for Marks' word. He said it was after summer league, so we have to, as of right now, go with it's after summer league. The thing that I'm concerned about, which a lot of people are missing, maybe I'm overlooking on this, but if you look at Demon's draft combine weight and compare it to his weight now, he's gained 10 pounds. And considering that we know that he's been hurt for, at least like a month or two, I'm wondering how much of that is fat and how much of that is muscle.
He's also 19 years old. When you're that age, your body can just fill out. I see it all the time. Fighters, their body just, they're 19, 20, 21, 22, and one day they wake up and their body's way bigger than when they went to sleep. Happened to me when I was about 21. I don't know if it's either. Maybe his body just got bigger. He's getting physically stronger. If you think about it, look at a picture when you graduated high school. Then look at a picture of yourself when you're 23, 24. Your body is way bigger as a guy, right? That happened at some point. Did he just get bigger? Is that possible?
I don't think that. Does he look bigger to you?
He doesn't. No, but he doesn't look fat either, right?
No, he doesn't look fat. I'm saying, I'm not saying that he's gonna blow up to be like David Ortiz or anything like that. But what I'm saying is that he probably missed a lot of crucial developmental time this summer. That's the point. The weight itself is nothing. He's young. He's in shape. He'll be able to get rid of that in a minute. What I'm concerned about is the missed opportunity of getting reps, doing drills, contact drills, all that good stuff. It's very, very important at a young age to do these drills. Teams do these things for a reason.
So the injury concern, the weight gain, whether the weight gain for him is good or bad, whether the weight, it's interesting to me that the weight gain for Yegor was great. The weight loss for Cam was great. And I not to you, but just in general, like that was the general reaction I got from Nets World. And it's interesting to me. Like, do you want the guys gaining weight or losing weight? Right? Like this seems weird to me. Everyone was excited that Cam lost weight. And everyone was excited that Yegor gained weight, and it seems conflicting to me.
I can break it down very easily. If you're fat or considered big and you lose weight, applause. If you're like a twig, you gain weight, applause.
I never viewed. Did you view Cam Thomas as fat though? I just thought he was built like he was built like a linebacker. Like I never thought like Cam Thomas was fat.
I can never say like this wasn't his best shape, but if I had to take a guess, I thought he could get into a little better shape. But like the way that he looks now, I think he's good. You know what I mean? Like it's so tough when we do stuff like this because what if you took a guy like Jokic and you took out a bunch of weight off him? That might completely change his game.
Yeah.
Cam Thomas draws a lot of fouls, takes a lot of hits. If we make him skinnier, does that mean he's going to be more in line to get injured down? Like we got to think about that stuff.
The So let me get Pete's assessment. The weight loss for Cam, you think is a positive? You think he'll be net? It's a net positive.
Sure. I'll say yeah. I'm kind of indifferent if I'm being honest.
Okay.
Because I don't know how it's going to affect his game. But if he's going to be the same player and he's just skinnier and he's going to have more stamina and stuff, how can that not be helpful?
I don't know what if he's losing like his girth. He's so good at drawing the foul, getting the bump, and finishing.
It's the body control.
Yeah, does that help the body control? I can't see that helping body control.
No, right? It doesn't.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't know. Like I don't know that I love him thinner. I don't know that is a good thing for him. Right? Like I don't know. It's not like Zion, where Zion just looks fat. It's like, okay, yeah, losing 10 pounds of fat when you're fat is good, right? Like Zion loses 10, 15 pounds. Like, that's good. That's good. Cam, I never really viewed him as fat. So, like, now he's just losing girth, losing strength, losing kind of what helps him. I don't know if that's good. As far as gaining 10 pounds for Jaeger, I don't think that can be, he is a little guy, frail. He's thin. That was a knock on him when they drafted him. So this could only, unless it's fat, which he doesn't look fat to me, him gaining 10 pounds, whether it's from the gym or his body just filling out, either way, that's a good thing, is it not?
Yeah, I would say so. He definitely needs more weight on his body. And with the injury that he has, it's a very, very low chance that he's been doing any weight-bearing like injuries. Like if you're gonna do, I don't know, just the majority of the powerlifting and stuff, you would see, you can't do it if your foot is torn. All the weight is going to go to the bottom of your foot. I just don't. I don't think he would be able to. Point of all of this is, I don't think he would be able to work out over the past month or so, or whenever they found out the injury.
He said the injury wasn't bad. Like, it doesn't really affect him day to day. It's kind of what I took from what he said. It doesn't seem serious, but he's 19. If it's not serious today, is it going to be serious 3 years from now? I mean, he's 19. He's a baby. His body's going to heal rapidly at this age. But is this going to be something that lingers?
Well, think about this, right? When somebody is going to jump in basketball to dunk a ball, right? You're pretty much exploding off your feet. You bend your knees, and then you spring up. All that weight bearing, all that energy goes to the ground, towards the ground, and to your feet.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine that he's playing his best ball hurt like that.
For sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah. It can't help. It can only hurt. But the question is, how much is it affecting him? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It can't be a good thing.
By the way, we don't even know if this is a partial tear or a full tear. That's a big difference.
Yeah. And the other Drake Powell's got jumper knee. I've never heard of that before. Apparently, he's back to 5-on-5s. That's going well. What do you know about Drake Powell, and what do you expect from Drake Powell during the preseason?
I have no idea. I have no idea with Drake Powell. So I will, when I have no information or haven't heard anything, I will say no comment.
All right. It's concerning to me when you have two teenagers of 20 years old, whatever they are, and they both have injury concerns already. We saw this with Whitehead, and I'm not giving up on Whitehead. He's still very young, but he never really got there, right? Like he got injured, he had injury issues. This is year 3. He hasn't played much. He hasn't shown the athleticism that he was supposed to have at Duke and things like that. Is that a concern with the other two, that these injuries are going to hamper them over time and that they're not going to develop in the way that Whitehead didn't really develop?
Are you talking about do I think Whitehead is going to make it, or do the
Well, I'm saying
concern?
the concerns that we've seen in Whitehead because of the injuries kind of stunting his growth and development. Is that an issue? Do you think that that's an issue? Is it a concern that the same thing's going to happen with Drake Powell?
By the way, Drake Powell is probably going to go to the G League because he's going to work through his injury and rehab and whatnot, and because the roster is so flooded. I don't know if I'm going to be concerned when I look at Dariq Whitehead and I look at another player, because everyone is different. And one thing I would say is I don't even know if Whitehead's going to make the roster.
Okay, this is all right. Okay, continue. I want to come back to that. I do want to come back because that is something I think we need to talk about.
I'm done. Go ahead. Bring it up.
All right. Is Dariq Whitehead? This is on my notes. I've heard ramblings of this. It seems crazy to me. He hasn't even gotten a chance to play yet. When he did play last year, he shot the 3 ball well. He shot it at over 40% clip. It was very small sample size, so you can do what you want with it. But like, I've heard ramblings of how realistic is it that we need to cut down the roster. Granted, the roster is oversold. Is it real? Is it a real possibility that Dariq Whitehead is not on this team, is not on the roster?
I think this training camp is very important for Dariq Whitehead. I will tell you that. I'm sure that there's a chance. As of right now, do the Nets look like they're most interested in Dariq Whitehead? He didn't play in summer league. I'm sure they don't want to let him walk for nothing. But the more and more you look at the roster, where are these cuts going to come from? I think he's probably one of the 4 on the chopping block.
And the others, go ahead. What 4? I don't want to answer the question for you. Who are the 4 on the chopping block? I mean, I think we know Keon's gone, so who's left on the chopping block?
Maybe Jalen. I'm not even sure. I wrote him down. I don't remember. Maybe Jalen Wilson. I think it's a couple of the lower contract guys that are that have their contracts kick in opening day. Let me look. There's a couple of guys like that.
Yeah, Drew Timme, Jalen Wilson, and Tyrese Martin.
Yeah, you might see something like that. Although I think somebody said Tyrese Martin is having a great camp. You might see Jalen Wilson go.
I look at a guy like Tyrese Martin, and at best, he's an average shooter. What else does he offer you?
I'm not the greatest fan of his, but
so I don't understand why he's here. Because he had a good game against Golden State last year. Like, I'm not trying
to. They like him. They scouted him and they like him.
Okay. As a ball handler, as a combo,
I have no idea.
I want to move on to the first preseason game is October 4th. They play some team from Israel. I don't know anything about it. Your expectations for the preseason as a whole, what do you want to see? There's a bunch of rookies, a bunch of young guys on this team. What do you want to see this preseason?
I want everyone to be safe for everyone that's going to that home game versus the team from Israel. That's the first thing I want to say.
Oh, you mean
After
the
that,
fans? Okay, I see what you're
yeah, the
saying.
fans,
Okay,
I want everyone to be
yeah,
safe.
for sure.
You know what I mean? I don't like mixing sports and politics, but I hope everybody's safe. Um, After that, I believe that they go to China for 2 games. That's going to be interesting. I really have no focus on the older guys. I think we all really just want to see the younger guys ball out and see what happens. That might be interesting to see. I want to see Cam Thomas, in his new physique, see if his game is going to change, see if he's going to be in the same role. Uh, the 2 games in China make it very interesting because I'm not even sure what time the games are going to be on. Do you know? I think it might be
Yeah. As we get closer, because the first game is the 4th, and then we don't have another game till like the 10th or the 12th or something like that. So there's the second game's not for a while. We got a
no, the
while.
games it's the 4th and I think 10 and
And
12th,
yeah.
and then they have a game in Toronto. So they only have one preseason game this year. I can care less about that game. Just let the kids play.
I want to see some semblance of an offense, right? Like last year, I thought it was, I kind of gave Jordy an incomplete because they didn't have any NBA players on their team. This is a team that they're building. They drafted 3 ball handlers, right? They got Buffkin. When they
Let me
played,
cut you off, Gary, for one
yeah.
second. For the China games, they're going to be Friday, October 10th at 8 p.m. CST. So that would be 9 o'clock New York time. And Sunday, October 12th, 7 p.m. CST, which would be 8 o'clock New York time.
Why are you telling us this about Central Time? Why are you quoting us in Central Time? Just out of
Yeah,
curiosity.
that's because I think someone I know lives in Central Time.
Okay.
1 and 2, Google just had it like that. I'm literally just reading off AI.
Okay. I appreciate that. That makes life easy for me because I'm on Central Time. But I always mess things up. I'm always an hour off. All right. The preseason. What I was saying. I'm sorry. I lost my train of thought. I want to see some semblance of an offense. To me, Jordy got incomplete last year. He did some things well, and they were able to win games. But that offense that they had last year is unacceptable. They also don't have any NBA players. It's a high pick and roll league. The Nets ran very little pick and roll. It's mostly just pass the ball around the perimeter. That's not a sustainable offense, right? Like that's not a good offense. And so is it just they don't have the personnel to play a real offense, or is this what Jordy runs? If this is what Jordy runs, then I'm out on him. Like this is not an offense. Your thought?
Wait. Who's the point guard?
You drafted 3 of them. You tell me. I didn't tell you to draft 3 point guards. You guys did that on your own. So I don't know. Decide amongst yourselves who's the point guard.
I want to do a crazy guess right now that's going to mess with your head. Buffkin, starting point guard.
I think you're right. I wanted to get into that, but go ahead. Give me your starting 5. Give me your Flatbush 5.
I do think the rookies are going to get time in there, but I could see them giving Buffkin time early because he is a vet. I think Jordy just said the other day that he's going to throw the rookies into the fire, so we're not going to have to wait too long. But we know that Jordy likes a guard who could play good defense, handle a little bit. Buffkin could pass the ball. Next to him, I would have CT. I got Michael Porter Jr. at the 4, Flax at the 5, and I'd probably put Zaire Williams at the 3.
So they're not going to start any of the rookies, right?
Not at the start of the year.
I was going to give you the same lineup. Zaire at the 3, Porter. You can whatever. Porter and Zaire are your forwards, and then Claxton at the 5. That was kind of my inkling too. That they're not going to start any of the rookies. You're telling me that Drake Powell is going to go down to the G League, which is
I think it makes a lot of sense because he's recovering from an injury.
Here's why I like it, and here's why I don't. He's recovering from an injury. Okay, let him recover from the injury. Let him rehab there. Why I don't like it is because this is a developmental season. We're not really counting wins and losses here. It's about, it's like a college team that has all freshmen. Well, we're probably not going to win this year, but that's not really the goal this year, right? Like the goal is to build something moving forward. I want him playing then. I want him thrown in the fire. I don't want him sparring with other amateurs. I want him sparring with top level pros because that's the only way he's going to get better. You know what I'm saying? Like going down to the G League and averaging 20 in the G League means nothing to me, right? I don't care. It's like hitting 300 in AAA. I don't care. I want you to do it up
here.
Gary,
you just had surgery. You're 20 years. You're going to be 19, 20 years old. You're not going to put him up against grown ass men. He has to get his legs underneath him. You know what I mean? Like when he comes back, he's not going to be playing 30 minutes a game the first game back. It might just be like 5, 10, 15 minutes. He has to get his legs back. The guy that he's going to be playing against, I've had a whole season to work out ahead of him. He's literally just stretching his legs out.
I'm not against him going down to the G League. How long are we going to keep him? Like last year, not you, but y'all in general loved it when Whitehead said he wanted to spend the year in the G League. I was disgusted by it. I would throw him out of my gym immediately. Say, okay, just stay there. Actually, I don't like that. Like I want you to go in there and I want you to play against the best players in the world, and you should want to play against the best players in the world if you're as good as you think you are, right? Okay, if you want to put Drake Powell in the G League, for how long? When are we bringing him back up? What's the plan here? I'm fine with it. If he's really recovering from an injury, it only makes sense to do that. I have no problem with it. How long is he going to spend down in the G League?
You do the rehab and then you assess the lineup. If you look at your lineup, is it worth it for him to come up to the NBA and play 5 minutes a night?
This is $1 million question. Why did you draft him then? Like in a year that you're not trying to compete, if you're not going to play your rookies, why did you draft him?
Because this is a long-term view. This is not like a 1-2 year fix. This is a long-term view. Your man's going to be gone next year. Drake Powell will be in a good position to be a good role player next year. You know what I mean? And the year after that, and after that. It wasn't about this year.
So this was my problem with the trade. So in a developmental year, you're not trying to win, and you're trying to develop your young players. You're going to play Terrence Mann and not Drake Powell. Is that correct?
They probably will at some point.
I don't understand. This is what we did last year. It didn't work, right? Like it failed ever across the board. Why are we playing Terrence Mann over Drake Powell? Explain it to me.
I don't. I would start the rookies. So you could say that you want the rookies to get the minutes underneath their legs in Long Island. They're 19 years old. They only play 33 game seasons in college, right?
Right.
So when you come to the NBA, it's 82 games. That's almost 3 times the amount of games. They need time to adjust. And the speed of the game.
I agree with you, right? And 33 40-minute games, instead of you're playing 48-minute games, you're playing 82 of them all over the country. It's a big major adjustment. I'm with you. I'm not saying that Drake Powell should play 30 minutes a game. I'm not saying that. But he should be getting regular rotational minutes. I think all of them should. I think Wolf should. I think Sharaf should. I think they should all be playing rotational minutes. Like I don't. What do you have to lose by playing him? What's the downside in letting Sharaf play and Drake Powell play 18 minutes a game every night?
I don't think there is. I have a little theory. This is just based on my random thinking. Last year, they did not go for the tank because they had all those picks. So they just played out the year. And now this year, since you have all those rookies, you can go quote unquote tank because I'm just playing my rookies. That's why we're losing.
No, I'm with you. I don't even consider it tanking. I just consider it rebuilding. Like that's what it is. Like we're trying to win. We're just obviously going to lose a bunch of games when we're playing all these rookies. Like just like a college is going to lose when they play all freshmen. We're not. We have to get them out there. That's why I don't even consider this year a tank. I just think we're bad, right? And we're bad because we have a lot of 19, 20-year-olds on the team. What are you going to
do? Jordy said he's going to put them through the fire.
I agree with him on that. I don't think there's really any other choice. Like you got to throw them out in the deep end and see how well they swim.
I agree. Well, what's the next topic, Gary? Hit me with it.
I want to move over. We didn't have a ton on the regular season. Michael Porter Jr. is already talking about retirement. He's 27. He's never really had a down season. He says it's year to year at this point, as if he's 37, like he's Steph Curry. What do you make of that? And Michael Porter Jr. in general, his comments. He's won the offseason. He's been an interesting interview. What are your thoughts on Michael Porter Jr. talking about retirement at 27 and in general, his personality so far this offseason?
Michael, we're not in Denver anymore. You know what I mean? There's going to be he might get some backlash. But talking to a couple of the reporters that talked to him about it, he just sees it as free speech. He sees it as his right. Like, you don't have to agree with him. He's not going to push it on anybody. And I think that was a little paraphrased a little bit, but
sure,
that was the gist of what I heard. And the retirement thing, I get it 100%. He's made how many millions of dollars? He's making $30 million a year, and
40, yeah.
$40 million a year. Let me see how much money he's made. This is before taxes. $115 million. Let's say there's taxes here, right?
We'll cut off half of it. Yeah, cut it in half.
Yeah,
yeah.
Well, let's cut off half of it. You're still you're still ridiculously rich, and you have 38 mil this year and 40 the year after that.
It's another 80 million. Cut it in half. Call it 40. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's 27. Why not retire by 40 if you can?
By 40 for sure, but he's 27.
Well, he has 2 more years. So what do you call it?
Oh, by 30. By 30?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay.
Well, why not? If you could, you probably would too. He's going to take some of the money that he got and he's going to invest it in something, and it's going to make money.
All right, let me. This is not boxing. It's not football. It's not going to have long-term effects on your mental ability, right? Like, why retire at 30? Because I got plenty of basketball. This is my passion. This is what I do. Like, I'm one of the best in the world at this. One of the 450 best in the world at this. And once that's over, it's over. It ain't coming back, right? Like, I'm not going to get a chance later in life to play in the NBA. So I don't know. Make the most of it while you can, because it's a very short career. At 35, most people are just starting their career. In the NBA, you're ancient at 35, right? So
yeah,
enjoy it and make the most of it. If he wants to retire. I'm not gonna begrudge a guy for retiring. I just thought it was a bit odd comment. A 27-year-old is talking about retire. If it was football, if it was boxing, I'd say, yeah, take your money, get your brain, and go. But basketball is not like that. He's not gonna get serious, concussions and traumatic brain injury, and that's gonna affect the rest of his life negatively from playing basketball. I'm 42 and I still play basketball.
Should he retire? No, probably not, right? Like, we've seen this story before. But like you said, it's up to him. He's already made a chunk load of money. He can invest it, get some passive income. Like, what are you going to do? You can't tell someone what to do with their own money.
For sure. If he wants to retire. Absolutely. Do what's best. Do what's best for you. I'm just saying, if you retire in the prime of your career, you may look back at that 10 years from now. and forever regret it because now it's gone. I've always said this about Zion. Zion's going to wake up one day and he's going to realize that I could have been one of the best to ever do this. And I pissed most of that away. And that's going to stick in his craw for the rest of his life because you can't get it back. You can't go back to being 22, 23. And you know what I'm saying? Zion has pissed away so much of his career from whatever, like eating Doritos and drinking Mountain Dew or whatever, and having injuries that may or may not be legitimate when he could have been one of the most unstoppable players in the history of the NBA. He can't ever, now he's still young enough where you can say, okay, right now, I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm going to be the best player I can be. But you can't get back those years. You know what I'm saying? Like those years that Zion pissed away are gone. Yeah. They're gone. You got a very short career, and Zion is going to wake up. And maybe he did. He looks to be in shape. Maybe he had that moment now. He's like, all right, I don't want to piss away another minute. You look at guys like Bron and Kobe and Giannis, and they took this serious from day one. Zion didn't. You know, it is what it is.
You got it. You have a Zion problem, but you're not wrong.
Well, I'm a Zion fan, obviously, right? I want him here. I just look at him and it's like it's a shame, right? Like he pissed away a bunch of years that he could have been an all-time great player. Just like Zion's body type and his athletic ability, when he came into the league at 19 years old, is he really any better now than he was then?
Probably, yeah. I don't know the numbers.
Slightly,
you would know the numbers, but I would hope that he would be.
The numbers are basically the same. He just plays more minutes, right? Like the numbers really aren't that much different. The weaknesses are still the weaknesses, and the strengths are still obvious strengths. Like he hasn't really changed much. He's still that player that he was when he was 19. It is what it is. I don't want to beat up on Zion. I do want to get into the Nets season though as a whole. I've listened to other podcasters, basketball, not net, but not net specific, just basketball talk. And a lot of them are saying the Nets might be better than people expect them to be. They're not good, but they might not be all that bad with Michael Porter Jr., Cam Thomas, Nick Claxton. Last year, Cam missed most of the season. Cam Johnson missed a lot of the season. Nick Claxton had a career worst season. If Michael Porter plays close to a full season, if Cam Thomas plays close to a full season, if Nick Claxton doesn't have the worst season of his career, if all those things don't happen, is this team a lot better? Can they win a lot more games than we may be expecting them to?
Are you saying if everybody stays healthy?
Yeah, let's say Cam Thomas stays healthy. Cam Thomas plays 65, 70 games. Michael Porter Jr. plays 70 games. Nick Claxton plays 70 games and plays at the level that he did 2 years ago.
And who are the other starters?
So let's say Buffkin and Zaire Williams.
Well, what counts as like extra wins from last year?
Well, so like let me ask you this: if I said, "Give me your win projection," how many wins do you think the Nets will have this year? What would be your guess?
22.
Okay, so I said 24. Dylan said 19. So we're all in that same ballpark. What if they won 33? Is that possible?
Anything is possible. You know, like I think miracles are possible, but the chance of that happening would be
plausible. Let me change is that plausible? Or is that jumping the shark way too much? That's not really realistic.
You would have to have two of the young guys putting in good production, especially one at point guard. Like if Buffkin winds up going off, he shot 35% in college and in the G League. So if he shot like 35%, passed the ball well, 5-6 assists, and put up 15 points, and then you wind up getting like a good role player out of somebody, you could start building in that direction.
I guess what I'm asking is, are the pieces here where this team might be better than advertised?
Since they're advertised so bad, yes.
that's that's the scary part. Like I don't know what you do with this team, right? Like what if they start winning games? What if they start like they did last year, 10-9, or whatever, 9-10, whatever. What if they get off to a decent start like that? I mean, do you just
don't go ahead.
no? I mean, do you rein them in, or do you just let them go out and try to compete? I mean, what do you do?
I don't know why I feel this way, but I do. And I hope I won't be proven wrong. I think the vets start the season, and if they start playing well and we start winning games, I think Marks will do the right thing and pull them back, knowing that this year you only have one pick. And really, I consider the picks that we got this year like B minus picks, like role player or
Yeah.
like, fifth option starter. I don't see the all-star superstar yet.
No, I'm with you. This was not what anyone envisioned the way this year went. You drafted 5 guys. None of them really scream star at you. Any of them. None of them. Yeah, and you didn't lose that many. It's just we can't do that again. Like if we're drafting 8 again, it's a problem. I don't know what you do with that, right? But at the same time, I don't think we've put ourselves in the best position. Getting guys like Buffkin and Haysmith, like I don't. Is this really what you want to do? It just seems, it seems like you're in the same position last year, but instead of having D'Lo and Dorian Finney-Smith and Dennis Schroeder, you just have different guys who are going to contribute and win more games for you. Like, what are we doing here? I really don't know. Like last year, it was all the way to like the last month of the season when I finally figured out that we weren't trying to make the playoffs anymore. Like, are we going to do that again? Like, are we, or is it going to be obvious from the beginning that we're rebuilding this year? I don't know.
Buffkin is a special case. Buffkin, I don't think was added for salary cap. I think he was added because they scouted him before, and a lot of people liked him, and he didn't get exactly off to the right foot in Atlanta. So that deal was based on the talent. I said this in a podcast. Kind of think of him like picking up Spencer Dinwiddie, right? Like very low value right now. And if he does wind up hitting, you hit on pretty much, a nice little gem in this cave, and you paid almost nothing to get him. So I don't have an issue with that. I could see your issues like with other guys like Highsmith, but I think he's only here to the trade deadline anyway.
Probably, but that's like we saw that last year. That's plenty of time to do enough damage. And the same thing, and this is why I said either you're going to sign Cam Thomas to a long-term extension, or don't bring him back at all. Because now we're in a situation with Cam Thomas where he's going to have games that he scores 35, 40 points and he wins you games because he went off. You got that, and now you can't trade him unless he wants to be traded. It made no sense at all to bring Cam Thomas back unless you were going to have him here long term, which they're not going to. Bring him back on the qualifying made no sense to me at all. It's like, now you can't trade him unless he wants to be traded. He can only be traded to where he wants to go. So you've taken away all his trade value, and he's going to win you games. So he doesn't get you any closer to rebuilding long term because he's not going to be here, but he does move you in the opposite direction because he's going to have a 43-point game where he wins you single-handed with his offense. So how does this help having him?
You do need spacing for the rookies because these rookies really can't shoot. So you really do need someone to kind of help them. But listen, I agree. Like, this is not the ideal outcome with Cam Thomas. It would have been very nice if we could have done something else, but it didn't happen. And now we're in this situation where basically we go to the trade deadline. Cam Thomas's agent is going to come to the Nets and say, I'll accept the deal here, here, and here. Those teams will know about it beforehand, so it's going to be a low ball offer. Or you wait till at the end of the year and hope you can get a sign and trade. That's really the only way the Nets could get out of this without losing an asset for nothing.
The last question I want to ask you, now we're on the rookies. the threy rookies, I'll put Sharaf and Wolf to the side for a moment because they were very late in the draft. But the other three, Yegor, Troy, and Drake Powell, over the next year or two, how important is their development in Sean Marks keeping his job? How much of that is tied to, Sean Marks? If these guys don't work out, is Sean Marks cooked as Nets GM?
I'm disappointed in you, Gary. You know the answer to this question. Come on.
I don't know the answer to the question because
you don't know, really.
I don't. I really no. I know what I would do, but I don't know the answer to the question.
Anyone watching this podcast, unsubscribe right now. No, I'm kidding. Obviously, it's extremely important. How could it not be important? He put everything into the Yegor pick. Like, if we can get Nolan Torrey to become a starting point guard and Drake Powell becomes a nice role player, that would definitely help and soften the blow. But if Demon does not hit, like Demon is just a flat out like bust.
Well, I don't want to say.
I don't know.
I mean, like, so to me, he's gonna have a career like Giddey. Is that good enough?
Well, Giddey's still young, right? So it's kind of tough.
Yeah. But I'm saying if 4 years, Giddey's been in the league 4 years now, right? So 4 years from now, if Yegor is a Josh Giddey type player, is that good enough? Are we good? Like, you know what I'm saying? How good does he have to be? And what's the ceiling on Troy? You know, like where do these guys have to be for Sean Marks to keep his job? I guess. What's good enough?
I think if you get Demon into Giddey, that's pretty good. That's 14 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 46% from the field, 37 from 3. That's pretty good. I would take that in a heartbeat right now. And Nolan Torrey, I see him like sort of like Spencer Dinwiddie.
Okay.
That's kind of how I see it. First step, not going to be an all-star, but will be a very serviceable starting point guard. Or at least I hope. I'm a big believer in him.
Okay. So, I mean, if you've added Josh Giddey and Spencer Dinwiddie, you don't have much. You know, I'm not trying to be the bearer of bad news, but like.
But you have to look at a draft and you'll see, like in the first round, there's only maybe like 7, 8, 9 guys who are like, consistently in the league. Most of those guys are like gone in a year or two, or injuries or something happens. So if you can get like a Josh Giddey and a Spencer Dinwiddie in that draft, it's not a failure. I would give it like a B- because I felt like you could have do something with one of those 3 picks, but I'm not mad. Yeah, that's a win. I think that's a win. You wanted more. You know what? It's a disappointment to you and me because going into this, we had more grandeur dreams. But now that we're here, Josh Giddey doesn't sound that bad on if Demon takes his numbers.
It does. It's just what we sat through last year, watching Tyrese Martin and Keon Johnson and Jalen Wilson. Jalen Wilson played more minutes on the team than anyone else last year. Having to sit through that was torture. And at the end of the torture, you get Spencer Dinwiddie and Josh Giddey. It's like, well, that wasn't worth it. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of that, I want Ace Bailey. I want Harper. I want that. I sat through this. I want that at the end. I want the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. When the pot of the gold, when the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow is Spencer Dinwiddie or and Yegor and Josh Giddey, it's Giddey and Dinwiddie. How is what I'm saying? How is that the excruciating pain we had to go through as fans worth it?
Was it excruciating pain?
It was hard to be a Nets fan last year, Pete. It was.
I'm used to this. This is in my blood. Losing is in my blood with this team.
I'm with you. I'm with you. But you just want there to be something grand at the end of that. Like what did we sit through that for?
We sat through for a chance to go into the lotto, And once again, I'll say this again, the tanking, the lottery, it's about giving yourself the best opportunity to get a top pick, not to get a top pick, the opportunity to get one. And of course, like idiots, we decided to win enough games that we played ourselves out of getting an Ace Bailey, literally by a game or two. Like it was ridiculous.
In order to get a top 5 pick, you have to be the worst team in the NBA, right? In order to guarantee that. It's tough. Like, I don't. The Nets have the worst roster in the NBA. I don't know that they're going to have the worst record. I don't know if they're going to lose more games than Utah. Utah's good at tanking, And really, this draft is like 3 or 4 guys, and then there's a major drop off. There's a chance we could get a top 3 or 4 pick. But if the same thing happens, if we go through what we went through last year and you get another Spencer Dinwiddie, Josh Giddey type player, it's like we haven't made any strides. We've just been bad, and now we're all out of those draft picks, right? Because then the next year we don't have our pick. So it's like, what was all this for?
Well, you're gonna we have the players that we just drafted. You're gonna develop them, see what happens. You never know. Am I, positive on this? Probably not. But this year you play, you go through the season, and we go through the lottery again. And if you are in the bottom, there's 3 really good players that are, franchise changers. And I do think that's the play. You add that on to what you have already. You let them develop. You can get your Steph Curry, maybe. I'm not comparing the players to Steph Curry.
I get what you say. Yeah.
You get your anchor. You get your franchise anchor. And let's face it, if you can't acquire a franchise anchor from somebody, you're going to need to draft them. And the fact that you'll get to grow with this player, it will give the Nets the best position with the salary cap going forward as well. Because let's face it, let's say they added a Giannis next year. What is this roster going to do with that? Nothing. You need a young gun.
Yeah. And we didn't get that, right? You just said we got Giddey and Dinwiddie, hopefully. Like, that's what we hope for. It's like, okay, like we could have just signed those guys. We could,
but you would have to pay full price.
Signed Giddey. Yeah, I know, but
it's all, Gary. It's about timing. It's all about timing because you can't get Giannis, the real Josh Giddey, and veteran C and D, because they're going to make too much money for you to fill out your bench. Look at the Knicks, right? Imagine if the Knicks had drafted Mikal Bridges instead.
Yeah.
Right?
They took Kevin Knox, right?
You could draft in a whole extra player.
Yeah. No, but the Knicks were able to get those guys, right? With Bridges.
Okay, well, that's Brunson. The reason why that happened was Brunson, because Brunson took the pay cut.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not normal.
But they also overpaid Bridges and OG. But like they did like that. Those are overpays. That's not, and maybe it works out. But the money they saved on Brunson, they just paid it to guys B and C instead.
Yeah, you're not wrong. But the reason why it's important that Brunson did that is because there was enough cap room to pay those guys that money.
Yeah,
and add other guys possibly. You know what I mean? Like maybe if Brunson takes the deal that he wanted originally, or like the big deal, you can't afford OG, and that's that's a major loss there.
No, I'm with you. They managed it right. They did. I mean, I would have never given that money to Bridges. I would have given it to somebody good. Like I would have given it to Kuminga or something like that. But the idea of what they did makes sense, right? Like it makes sense. I think giving that money to Bridges is certifiably insane. Like I guess I value Mikal Bridges like Sean Marks values Cam Thomas, which is the same.
Yo, Gary, I gotta start heading out.
All right, yeah. All right, look, I gotta wrap up too. All right, you want to let everybody know where they can find you and what you got going on next?
Sure, you guys can follow me at Netfengino on Twitter and YouTube. I'm editing a new episode that's going to be coming out probably tomorrow now, since I got some stuff to do. Be on the lookout for that on YouTube. And yeah.
All right. Appreciate everyone. I'll be back with Dylan before the preseason game. Pete's always invited on. You don't have to boo us. Pete, jump on with us whenever you want. It's always a pleasure having you on. Guys, it's September 30th, 2025. It's almost October, which means it's basketball season. From Texas to the world, thank y'all, and God bless.
Gary, hurry.